So I'm just in explore mode, and I kind of want to share with you my final thoughts on the game after having played it for roughly 7 hours. So no, I did not finish the game. But that doesn't mean that I don't have thoughts on the game. So while I'm cruising around in explore mode on PS5 Pro in performance mode, I thought that I would share my thoughts. First off, I absolutely adore the story. I don't think it's too generic. I think it paints a good picture as to what it would be like in real life in this type of similar setting. And that is also backed up by some real ex-mafioso people that have confirmed that this is very accurate. The voice acting is absolutely superb with the characters. I feel like between the story and the voice acting and the facial expressions that you see are just absolutely, literally breathtaking. I feel like it really hooks you in like you're watching a real movie. And that's basically what this game is, because it's incredibly linear, right? Even though you're allowed to go around and actually explore. It just pulls you right in. At least it did for me. And I can't wait to finish the story and see what happens next and all this sort of stuff. So all of that is just absolutely incredible. The combat, even though I had read some mixed reviews on the combat, both including the gunplay and the melee with the knife, I actually really like it. I really do, which is why I was kind of sad that there wasn't more to it after the game is over. So the combat is great. At least I think so. Driving, I'm doing it right now. So whether you're driving in normal mode like I'm doing here, or if you're driving and you're using simulation, the driving feels good to the point where if the driving was the main part of any other game and it felt like the driving in this game, I would be okay with it. I really do feel like it's not just some cheap arcadey thing. Very nice. I also appreciate the fact that we have different difficulty settings, because we live in a world where sometimes some games just don't have them, and then sometimes some games have a plethora of them. And so I appreciate that we have, as far as I know, 3 difficulty settings: easy, medium, and hard. We are also able to replay chapters, which is always a welcomed addition. The game looks beautiful. I absolutely freaking love it. Like, it looks good. And sometimes what'll happen is you'll watch videos on YouTube, like you're watching this video, you know, the 3 people that are going to see this. And sometimes you don't get a proper representation of what it would look like if it was on your screen. And a lot of that has to do, and it's not an insult, with the unfamiliarity of settings that you can really tweak in your recording software, so that when a person views your content on YouTube, even though it's going to compress it and use different codecs, you can still have it so it's like 95% accurate as to what you would see on your screen. And I watched some footage for some people and I was like, whatever. Then I played on my screen and I was like, God damn, this shit's sexy. Okay, so game looks amazing. Now then, we have an explore mode, which is the last thing that I wanted to mention. You know what? I am going to pause it for a second, because now I feel like I'm going in circles. You know what? Maybe I am going in circles. I don't care. This is what happens when I'm playing and I'm talking at the same time. I get distracted. Explore mode. That's what I'm in right now. You could literally go wherever you want. And as you play through the game, and you unlock different vistas or whatever place that you could fast travel to, then you could just, maybe I'll do it. You could fast travel to it. You could get some collectibles. You could still spend money. But there isn't really a whole heck of a lot to do in explore mode, as far as I know, and as far as other people know. There just isn't anything going on. And that's a shame. I don't think you can do any races. As a matter of fact, I think this was actually one of the race areas in one of the early missions. But they did say that they are going to support explore mode in post-game. What that entails, I don't know. But anything that they're going to add extra, I'm all up for it. Anyhow, let's go into the negatives for me. So as you can see here in Explore mode, driving around, game runs pretty good. So the performance overall I do find is great. My first impression of the game that I spoke about was highly favorable because it was true that it was really, really good. Then I started getting into the racing, going into big cities and stuff like that. And I did find that there was some stuttering, not to the point where like it ruined the experience of the gameplay, but it was like, you know, they need to polish that shit. And I'm pretty sure that they will. So now I'm going to show you that a little bit, maybe. So yeah, it's not perfect, but it's pretty yeah, see, already we're getting a little bit of stuttering here, a little bit of frame drops. Feels like it's, you know, 30 FPS or something when you're going through some dense areas. So yeah, I suppose we can call that a bit of a negative if I had to nitpick. Draw distances and all that are actually pretty decent, so can't really complain about that. I've seen far worse in other games. The game is too scripted, but it's like that by design, and they were clear with us from day one. So there's no enemy respawns, and that goes in with the very tight-knit, woven story that they've given us. You're not just going to see random enemies popping out of nowhere that you can just go and bust a cap in their ass. But for me, that kind of sucked. I was hoping for territory takeover and shit like that, but whatever. And then there's no post-game. So, yeah. Literally, the credits roll, and I've seen that from what people have been saying. And then you're brought back to the main menu. So if you want to see your love, Isabella, that is her name, right? I don't even know if you can see her in the post-game. Days Gone had a same thing where Deacon St. John couldn't see Sarah. That was her name, right? I always get the ladies' names mixed up throughout all the different games. And then they added her in post-game DLC, not DLC, update, where you were able to see her at, you know, the main town at one of your hideouts. You were able to see, you know, the love of your life. And it just kind of added that thing because Boozer was there, your sidekick, but Sarah wasn't there. 90% of your journey was about finding Sarah, and now that you found her and you're in the post game, where the fuck is she? Well, now you can see her. So as far as I know, there is no Isabella. I'm not too sure. Don't take my word for it, but from what I've seen people doing their stuff, she's just not around. And it could be maybe when I beat the game, maybe she'll be there, because this is your apartment here. I'll go back to my apartment. I highly doubt she's going to be in the bed. I'm just saying, or anywhere. Shouldn't say just the bed. She could be in the kitchen or in the garden. 8 minutes rambling about nothing. Yeah, so too scripted. No enemy respawns. Dead world in explore mode in terms of enemies. There's no gangsters trying to drive you off the road. None of that shit. And for me, that hurts the replayability of the game as a result. Again, if they add that later on, that would be bloody fantastic. Because like I said, this game overall is an absolute delight. It's a treat. And I can't wait to end this goddamn video so that I can go into campaign, story mode, whatever it's called, and finish it. So I'm going to leave you with that, just a little under 10 minutes. Thumbs up as always if you liked the video. It does really help support that channel with the algorithm in trying to make me a little bit more relevant in the search results when people are looking shit up. Maybe she's in here. Isabella. No, she's not in here. And if you didn't like the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs down. I'll bend it in half, twist it, break it off in your ass. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, naturally, that'd be great. But if not, thanks for stopping by anyways. Take care. Maybe I'll see some of you in the next one. Oh, yeah, and of course there's, like, different weapons and shit like that and different outfits that you could still, you know, change in and out of. This would definitely be a, an added bonus. There's just, like, so many different things that unlock as you go through the game. Wow, like a lot. And it's funny, too. I forgot to mention this. Make the video over 10 minutes now. Is as you play the game, you don't even know that these things are getting unlocked Like, oh my God, these weren't even there like the last half hour I was playing the game. It's like, God damn, where'd all this shit come from? But yeah, that's it. That's enough rambling. Maybe I'll see some of you in the next one. Bye for now.